Hello there, everybody. We're watching IShowSpeed getting into controversy again over some dumb shit that didn't need to happen. I seen this and I was like, but hey.
Bro, and come back. Come here. Come back. Why you got on Argentina, bro?
English, no.
Konnichiwa? Konnichiwa?
No, Chinese.
Konnichiwa, Argentina.
Chinese, no konnichiwa.
Boing, boing, boing.
So for those who don't know,
See, look, bro was laughing along with it. So I didn't think, because bro did say he's Chinese, but then bro was also laughing. So I don't think he actually took it that serious. I think bro took it as a joke, honestly. Because if he was mad, he would have been like, okay, bro, chill. But he didn't say that.
yo, Speed is back in the news for saying some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Some
bro
people
was
saying
laughing
this
along.
process.
Bro knew what was
let's hear
going
him
on.
for a second.
Words. People are saying I'm being racist to an Asian guy, you know, and I just wanted to say some things, you know. I wasn't being racist to him. I promise you, you know. I seen him. I thought he was, you know, when I see, I thought he was Japanese, so I said konnichiwa. I watch a lot of anime. I said konnichiwa when I thought he was Chinese, you know. I tried to say a nickname that they call me in Chinese. I literally was just talking to a Chinese person earlier today at 433. And they said they love me, and I love Chinese people. So I try to say Zhong Kong, like Chong Kong. Like, it's a nickname that they call me in China. I promise you, you know. And if it came off as racist, I promise you, I did not mean it that way. You know, I got drilling pushing. I'm making content, live streaming. I'm at the World Cup, watching Ronaldo play, drilling pushing. I seen him with a Argentina shirt. You know, I just wanted to say what's up to him. You know, I love other races. You know, I really did not come off as, I didn't really mean to come off.
So all right. The reason why a lot of people upset at it is because how aggressively he said it.
But think about why he said it aggressively. He's a known Ronaldo dick sucker, but he's a known Messi hater.
No, I get that.
Niggas wearing Argentina blue.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be like if you wore a LeBron jersey at a Raptors game. I'd be like, hey, man, get that bullshit up out of here. I love LeBron James, but just not right now.
But what would you say to me?
I say, hey man, get the fuck back to your country, boy.
Hey, yo, that's crazy.
Happy holidays, Mr. Scrooge.
I can barely get reception outside the old town center.
You need a...
Oh, no way. You just said that. That's crazy. And I'm supposed to say LeBron jersey. That's why I got that. Hey, I should not have worn a LeBron jersey. I should have known I was being told to get back to my country. You got every right to do that, man. I know the LeBron stuff going on.
Now,
man.
look, in sports environments, sometimes the fans get heated.
Come on,
they don't need to be that passionate. Or you think he just made that up? It's possible.
Bro.
You know what? You know why I'm split on this?
Come on.
You know why I'm split on? Can I share why
I'm split on it because he's 17, nigga. He's a child.
Okay.
That's why.
I think the thing about the Speed situation is that a lot of times in America, niggas get offended on the behalf of other people before those people get offended.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
because bro wasn't offended. Bro was actually laughing too. Like, if somebody got offended, they wouldn't be laughing along, right? So bro was actually laughing, like he took it as a joke.
Do you remember a couple years ago in the NBA draft, there was an African guy with his family wearing their African attire. I forgot what country it was. It's probably West Africa. I don't know. All the NBA players come from West Africa. Okay. And he happened to have a white girlfriend. The white girlfriend was with his African family, also wearing their attire. And Americans got upset at the girlfriend, like, that's cultural appropriation. I'm like, yo, she's that nigga's boyfriend.
He let her wear it. He probably bought it for her.
And I thought, like, yo, bro, y'all quick to get offended before he even gets offended. That guy definitely could have turned up on him if he was offended by what he said.
Exactly, but
like,
he was
the
laughing.
same way sometimes people assume on Somali. Hopefully they don't try and like fucking do what the fuck Speed did. People sometimes might assume on Somali or like Kenyan or Tanzanian or just nearby countries, or Eritrean, but I'm Ethiopian. But it's difficult to tell the difference unless you're from the region or you're around people from that region a lot. So I grew up around an area that was majority Chinese. So when I see people that are Chinese, I'm like, this is obviously not a Japanese guy. And you could be wrong. It's just, you're guessing. They could be South Korean for all you fucking know. So Speed guessed wrong, and he was in the moment angry at a guy wearing a jersey. That's his ops. right?
Yeah.
And so I just think I would probably be bothered by it if that nigga was bothered by it. But he
but
was not bothered by
smiling.
it. So on a serious note, although sometimes this shit can be funny, they're right. If someone says something hateful to Asian people, not many people come in defense of them. If someone says something hateful to black people, a lot of people come in defense of them.
And some people say hateful things about Jewish people.
And
a lot of people. And you'll lose sponsorships. And you might get kicked out of the league.
The point is, they're right. Asian hate is more normalized and should definitely be taken more seriously. I just don't. The guy in the video himself didn't interpret.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. Yeah.
It's possible he was just very nervous and didn't want to say nothing. But like, assuming he didn't have a negative reaction to it. In fact, he tried to educate him. He's like, no, not even Japanese, Chinese. It's just proof that he was like, oh no, you just got it wrong. But I don't think he took offense to it.
Yeah.
Now, other people are taking offense to it. Maybe other Asian people in America or other places in the world are taking offense to it. And it's probably because, I don't know, it's a good question. I guess if you're offended by it, like, you should try and be sensitive to other people's...
Do you get offended by it? Do you get offended by it if somebody mischaracterizes you because you're different parts of Africa?
Nah, there's plenty of people that say, like, wild shit about, like, you know, like me or any...
No, but somebody, like, say you're Nigerian, like, do you get offended? Like...
Nah, like, even sometimes, like, if I say A ever in a sentence, people go like, oh, he said A, the Canadian said A. But I don't say it that much. But every once in a while I say it and they just assume that's part... Exactly, I never say it. But when I do, everyone makes sure to bring it up because they just think that's such a Canadian thing. But I never really.
Offended?
No, I'm just like, nah, I don't know many Canadians that do that. Maybe like if you go to other parts of Canada, it's more common. I'm not sure. But anyway, point is like I experienced a lot of racism.
What you do though?
I experienced a lot of racism growing up from people that were genuinely mean-spirited, where they thought that I was dangerous or risky because of the color of my skin.
That's fair. I don't think he was.
So when it's mean-spirited, like when I see you vacate the sidewalk and I'm just walking, and then when I leave the sidewalk, you come back, you think I'm a risk.
Crazy.
Like it is what it is. I don't try and change those people's minds. They're strangers.
For sure.
But when it's mean-spirited, I'm slightly offended by it, but I just overlook it because there's no point of me.
And you don't think he was being mean-spirited?
No, he was just.
Now let's see this next clip. You think he was mean-spirited? This one?
Maybe, I don't know. That first clip
There
was
was
one
two.
thing, but
There was another clip. I think part of the first one.
Indian? Oh, Aditi miti agudubi dibita.
Let me do them.
Nah, that is kind of.
That's what I'm saying.
That one is crazy.
Come on,
That
bro.
one is crazy.
I heard you out.
Are you offended by it?
I'm not Indian, so I'm not.
So you're not offended.
I'm
by
not
it.
offended by it, but I understand why people are like, come on, bro. We can.
But
You can
they
do
that one you can kind of
maybe they were, but they didn't look it.
So if a white person calls a black person a hard R, but that black person is offended,
It's not the same thing as someone reciting some Indian song.
if somebody was like, "Hey, get that watermelon fried chicken, boy. That watermelon good, ain't it, boy?"
If it's mean spirited, I'd be offended.
No, just mocking it, just like he's mocking it.
I'm not gonna lie, I have friends that aren't black that be saying wild shit.
And everybody in the chat was looking like, is it this friend?
Nah, but it's when you're with your friends.
But that's a friend. We random people.
Okay, stranger.
So if somebody came up to you, right, and you're as a fan,
No, but it would be like somebody coming up to you and started rapping rap music. That's what it would be like. But because Lo is making it seem, Lo is doing it in a way where he's like saying watermelon chicken, which is an offense. But for it to be like the same, right, it would have to be rap music because you use Indian music against an Indian person, right? That's how I'm seeing it.
and like, oh, Asian, you're black, right? Like that watermelon, huh? You like that watermelon.
See, that's
Papa,
different. That's kind of different. He should use a rap reference. Like, bro came up to him and started just rapping.
that chicken, didn't you?
Honestly, I'd probably just ignore it and pretend it wasn't said.
But
Because I know
but
what
you
they
can
would
understand
probably
why-
be going for as a reaction.
Exactly, but
I would probably be
why-
annoyed, but not offended.
But you understand why it would come across. You know
I
what I'm
do.
saying?
I'm not saying I don't understand it.
I just
need one of these people to come out and be like, yeah, that shit was genuinely offensive. I'll be like, okay, all right.
I get that, but what I'm saying is I think what many people are trying to do is acknowledge that not only has influence, but also as you continue to grow older, like there's certain things that you should just pull aside and
So
be
that's
like,
a good
hey,
point.
yo, let's chill out for a second. Because
I
like,
think
even
that's
as you
the-
get older, like
That's the bigger thing to me. Speed's actual actions in a vacuum, in that specific instance or in the previous one, are a lot
let's
less-
show them one more last one before we get to the.
There's one more. Hey, yo, Speed, what's going on? I'm trying to help you. Like, that one is crazy, but Lo has to make it like rap music and not just watermelon.
Hey, Muhammad. What's up, Muhammad?
That one is.
Abdul. I'm from India. Oh, so your name is? We're both from India. Oh, India. Yes. Ardiki. Aditi ako dupi dupi titita. Zubi dupi kaputawa chapati.
Come on,
Man, that's crazy.
come on, that's what I'm saying.
Bro, it's getting crazier, bro.
Hey, come on,
That's crazy.
come on.
The first two, the first one I could kind of defend. The second one, Lo didn't use the right matchup. The third one is just crazy. I got nothing.
I don't think that
Like, coming up to me as a black
He probably doesn't mean it in a harmful way, but probably should still not do that.
person, if I'm a Korean, they're like, Kobe? Ah, Marbury. Marbury. Come on, like, what are we talking about now, bro?
Yeah, like the actual Muhammad Power is whatever, because that is the most popular name on the planet. Honestly,
but
I could
just ask him.
But right, but
name,
everything
bro.
past that, the dingy dingy ding, and that's like, yeah,
no,
come on.
Even his name. Why are you assuming his name? Just ask, yo, what's your name?
What Speed's trying to do?
Come on, nigga.
I'm not defending him on this one. I think what he's trying to do is just be funny to his audience. But the point I was gonna make previously was, in a vacuum, these instances are largely irrelevant. I think there's actual mean-spirited versions of hate genuinely could disadvantage people.
He probably doesn't mean any hate by it, but you probably should stop doing it.
People that are worth taking a look at. I think the bigger negative here is if his audience in mass begins treating other people of other cultures like this, then that's an actual problem. Because it's like, if you're anyone that's not the majority, you're just gonna experience like weird stuff like this often, and that would make life a little bit more difficult to get. You make your day more difficult to get through.
For sure.
So that's what I would argue is the biggest negative here. I get doing shit for content. I'm a content creator. I know what people, and I know people who've crossed the line trying to get content. And you could argue this was either a gray area or he crossed the line on any one of these. And you could talk to the individual people or talk about the situation in a vacuum, but the real negative is just if his obviously young audience begins all doing this. Yeah. That would be annoying. To all those people, if it happens once in a while, I'm sure they won't mind, but on the fucking 10th time that day of a nigga making a fucking joke about a Bollywood song, you'd be like, all right, bro, shut the fuck up. So I think that's really the harm.
If an Asian person came over here and was like, just in Atlanta, you're like, oh, Kobe? Oh, Jermaine. No? Tyrone? Tyrone, all right. And you start beatboxing, so crazy, like the most black shit in the world. I'm like, all right, bro, you got it, bro. There's a bunch of people also. I think that's the biggest problem, is because
by far.
Have you seen like some of the clips of like these people who they actually follow him and they like approach him and be like, hey, yo, brother, you have a lot of influence and you need to be teaching the word of God. Like they actually put their stuff on the speed and stuff like that.
Really?
He has to like turn that down, so he gets that all the time. I think a lot of people are more upset about the influence. I agree. Like you shouldn't be more offended than the actual people that you believe the offense was towards. I understand that. But I think the impact of him just doing this willy-nilly and almost normalizing that type of rhetoric and behavior, and knowing that there's a bunch of children that's watching his stuff and the most influential group of people on this platform, like there's definitely long-lasting effects that could occur, and people ignoring it is kind of OD. Also, the argument of him being young and a child, like he's 17. He knows what he's doing. Like he knows what he's doing. KSI also said the same thing. He was like, yeah, back when I was making those crazy, edgy jokes about, something heinous, he knew that they were crazy at the time, and he immediately regrets them. In a moment, it makes sense. Not immediately. Not immediately, but later on in his life, he looked back and he's like, I knew I was doing it wrong. I should not have done it, and I regret doing it. But here's
the problem with that, though. And this is not in a defense to anyone that does things that are actually offensive to anybody. Mm-hmm. But y'all not seeing what's happening? The content creators are being incentivized to be more extreme. Like, think about the podcasts that are the most extreme. They're talked about. These types of moments, they're talked about. It keeps him relevant. It keeps people in the conversation to him. And as long as his fans don't give a fuck, it's just more people talking about him. And in the midst of all the people talking about him, a few people is going to find it funny enough to give him a chance. Boom, his audience grows. So KSI is a great example of a content creator who also blew up. And do you remember KSI's appeal?
No.
He was saying the most egregious, crazy. He was doing wild things. He would play a fucking saxophone and thrust his hips in public. He would do extreme things, and not all of them were offensive. Some of them probably were to some people, but some of them were just like, oh my god, he's so courageous to like. How did he have the boldness to do that?
He had a running joke where it was like, okay,
he did the R-word face challenge. He did
that running joke was crazy.
He would go head to head with FIFA. He would say the most ruthless shit about EA we were all thinking, but everyone was too afraid to do. So there were the things about him that people enjoyed, that projected him, that gave him that explosion, were edgy in nature. So he can turn around and post and be like, damn, I regretted some of those moments or whatever, and we'll just take him by his word that he did. But they attribute it to his growth. Same thing applies to Speed.
I'm gonna say,
there's not many like calm people, Marcel.
No, I get that. I get that. But what you think the same thing will happen to Speed though? Because you think Speed will just be like, he can just do all this shit and kind of almost in the back of his mind just know 4 or 5 years later he can be like, yo, I was young, and just kind of play that card. Because people play that card really for him. Yo, let us know your thoughts in the comment section.
I wish I knew what he was gonna say.
Have different opinions.
I wish I knew what he was gonna add on to that. I wish they didn't cut that down. Repeating his sin, I legend. or it's the roles and it's 100% stereotyping. Also, the biggest factor is and why most these people didn't show who were offended is because culturally, not most Asians and Indian people are raised to be as respectful as possible, especially foreigners. Speed should be persecuted against. Just made. Yeah, he should. They probably weren't offended, but he should probably stop doing it because it's really not good. But yeah, see you guys later. Like, subscribe, bye.